So January, I was in Connecticut on a couch with my wife. And we poured a glass of Pinot, and we would do this from time to time at 2 in the afternoon. It's cold there and snowy. You get bored early in the afternoon. And we were sitting there, and we were talking about our lives. And she asked me a really good question. She said, things are different. You don't feel as inspired. You've lost some energy. And she's done this throughout our marriage and throughout our relationship. And she asked me a really interesting question. She said, from this moment right now, as the snow was piling up on top of the snow that was piled up in Connecticut, I didn't see my lawn for 4 months. She said, from now until dead, are you living where you want to live? And are you doing what you want to do? No and no. And so that late afternoon, we got on the internet and booked flights to LA. We were going to change our lives. Simple as that. Early January. The next 3 days, we were on the internet. Schools. We had 2 families, 2 kids. We couldn't tell anybody. I told my ex-wife. I said, don't tell anybody. We can't tell kids. And so in January, I decided I am moving west. At that time, I wasn't inspired. And so I went to my former employer and I asked him 6 or 7 questions, and I was seeking yeses. I said, I want to have proprietary relationships with my advertisers. Can I have that? Can I own my podcast? Can I own parts of my radio show? Can I be on a better TV network at this company? And I asked a lot of questions, and they were frank. And to their credit, they were honest. It was mostly no's. And a maybe, and we'll think about LA. So I changed agents, and I told him, get me yeses. And that's a scary place, because I knew emotionally I had just clicked. I had just shifted. I was moving my kids. I had changed my agent. I was moving to another coast. I had doctors to find for my kids in schools. And I thought, I'm changing companies. But I didn't know where yet. So I interviewed at 6 or 7 places, lots of different places. They were all gracious. I interviewed at National Geographic. I kid you not, I've always been fond of zebras. So I interviewed everywhere. And things started falling into place. I had inquired about iHeartRadio 4 years ago. They didn't have an opening. I was told they were interested. I had watched Fox Sports for years and Fox Sports 1 for a couple years. And I like what I saw. I like their energy. And I thought that would be a really cool place out in Los Angeles, potentially, to broadcast and simulcast my show. And suddenly, over the next 2 or 3 months, early spring, March, April, other people, after calls and interviews, said they'd be interested to join me. And so it was pretty much in the summer. I knew June, July, it was over, except for signing stuff. I'd made up my mind. And I hold no grudges against my former employer. None. A lot of people are like, I can't believe the way. Who cares? I was so energized. I so badly wanted to do this project. I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. And I would say this. I have been inspired by so many people through the years. If I can offer inspiration to anybody over the next 90 seconds, I'll say this. You know, I'm not overly religious. I don't know if there's a heaven. Maybe there is. And you go up and it's down comforters and it's mimosas and the lamb chops are perfect and the bed's always made. But what if there isn't? And what if this is it? And what if it's up to you to create it? Here's what I know. I'm not leaving this earth with regrets, and I'm chasing every dream I have. Everyone. And I'm going to be aggressive to a fault. I may fall flat on my ass with this, and I don't care. This is the life I wanted to create. For my kids, we surfed yesterday. My son got on a surfboard for the first time ever yesterday and stood up. For me, yes, I've monkeyed around with my hair. I don't care. It's mine. I'm starting over. I'm doing things the way I want to do them, with proprietary relationships with businesses and my radio show and with advertisers. And for all of you out there, there's an old cliche, go out on a limb. That's where all the fruit is.